Hi once more, this is Robin again. I have this idea about creating minisodes that will be posted as short podcasts on a weekly basis. I'm hoping to address topics and experiences that I periodically encounter here and there without necessarily putting such ideas on a backlog. Hoping this is a journey that you'll walk with me. Thank you. For this segment, I'm looking at toxicity. It's quite interesting that most people find it so hard to admit that they are in toxic relationships, whether this be with friends, at work, or even parents. I think it's all the same. Unfortunately, in most instances, it's never outright that you can pick it, and in some situations, it can slowly creep up on you, and even before you realize it, it's something that totally consumes you. There are a few pointers I'd like to consider that may or may not apply to you. I mean, I'm no professional, so all I'm sharing is from experience or understanding that I've gained over time. My first pointer is it could be what feels familiar. If the connection between abuse and love is made early in life, someone who's been abused may not realize that there are other healthier ways of going about their relationship. Let me see if I can simplify this point, probably from childhood. So as a child, one gets to experience abuse plus some rejection here and there, and then like love as they grow up. They get to associate love with abuse, and then they learn to shut down their feelings and then blame themselves when bad things happen. So this child gets to internalize that love actually hurts or is hard. This child then grows up, meets a partner who is emotionally or physically abusive. Then by this point, the adult has learned how to shut down their feelings and wants and needs, and then they keep blaming themselves for their partner's behaviors. Unfortunately, in other instances, the partner may reinforce this attachment by alternating between their kind acts and their acts of abuse, which for these adults, their excuse for their partner is that's how they love them. And it gets to a point where it's now the victim who starts making excuses for their partner. So when this adult later finds himself or herself in an intimate relationship, they perceive the familiar feelings of shame and anger as love and care from this relationship. So that's how twisted it can be. My other consideration is it may be an attempt for them to heal. The logic behind this is that by becoming an abuser, a former victim can try to undo their abuse by taking the opposite position, hoping that they can get it right this time. My third consideration would be perhaps someone could be feeling inadequate. People who are abused as children may believe that they are not good enough or they don't deserve a genuine caring relationship. So whenever they find themselves in a space where someone actually cares for them, they'll go above and beyond to make this thing fail. My fourth pointer is you could be trying to reverse the roles of power and control. This is by becoming an abuser. Someone who has been abused can play the role of the more powerful person in the relationship in an attempt to overcome that feeling of being powerless or powerlessness. That powerlessness they felt when they were being abused. Unfortunately, this is not effective, and they may repeatedly dominate others in an attempt to get over their weakness, the weakness that they got to experience as a victim. My next point is a strong fifth. This is constant anger. You may not realize this, but the reality is one tends to carry a lot of anger about what happened to them, and the abuse can be a way for them to express this anger. So even if they have pushed this anger out of their conscious awareness, it can come out in subtle or sometimes in not so subtle ways within an intimate relationship or in their parenting style. Another pointer for consideration could be for this person, it could be an attempt to get the upper hand, probably with the logic that they would rather hurt others before they are hurt. People who've been abused may view relationships as, how do I put it, as a hunting ground where you need to be the predator rather than the prey. And one more thing that I can add to a small list is there are occasions when the lie feels way safer than the reality, because the painful experience, sometimes the validation from people who we don't care, or sometimes it could be just even family, or just sometimes our own ego. Based on that, you may start idealizing other people to the point where you make excuses on behalf of your abusive partner. As a parting shot, I'll encourage you, in case you doubt anything within your gut, just seek help from someone. Thank you, and looking forward to your feedback.